I thought she was gonna poison me. A couple hours after I have to go to the bathroom, so I ask the teacher to go to the bathroom. I find that fucking bitch Marie Laure putting yellow food coloring in my pineapple and I am just like, WTF are you doing? And this bitch said, nothing, and I was apt to lose it, so I told the teacher and now she's expelled. You're welcome. For a time in elementary school we used to play kickball, and one time there was one kid that launched the ball 50 feet up. Anyways, this time all of them were kicking it back and forth and everything was at least 20 feet apart, and this girl kicked the ball softly and I ran up to go get it, and I was running in front of this kid and he kicked the ball and he kicked it so hard on my face. I ended up falling onto the floor. And my friend saw me and one grabbed my foot and the other grabbed my head, so they tried to take me and they dropped me on my head, and the proctor saw and took me to the health office, and to make it worse nobody picked me up until 4 p.m. There was a banner in the office that said kids left behind after 4 will be sent to the circus. I cried so hard, so I'm here in the office thinking I'ma go to circus, and finally I see my stepdad. I've never ran so hard, red double exclamation mark. Sad pensive face. Story time. This one time I fell. Story time. Basically I have a friend, her name is Naomi, and she came to school later on after it started and decided to like my crush. Then he asked her out. And she told him no, but then little did I know that girl was secretly dating him, till one of my friends told me, God, I wanted to beat her ass. And recently I did a prank on her that I was going to my crush's house. Before the prank they already broke up like 2 months ago, and she got mad and sent screenshots to a group we were in, a like 12 ppl, and they all started coming for me. Then I told them it was a prank and they were still mad, and then me and Naomi worked things out, but God, she's like a two-faced. I just want to slap her for everything she did to me. What a hoe. For a time, this one time in elementary school I was friends with these group of girls, and one of them had a scrumptious fine ass smoking hot cousin which was one grade above us and went to our school one day, us 3 girls and the girl's cousin. Let's call him Hat. All went downtown for the parade. Mind you, before all of this, Hat had a crush on me and I had a crush on him, so me and him were on and off with just talking a lot. The other girl in our friend group, let's called her Cake, was literally obsessed with him cause we ended up getting to the parade a bit late. So we didn't see much, so we went into the Blackhawk store. Hat was leading the group of people and I was behind him to the side just walking. Cake was walking with the other girl, most likely talking shit about me, but anyways, he turned around and told me to come with him to help him look for something, so obviously I said of course, and we strolled along and I keep seeing Cake side-eyeing us, so we ended up at the hat section and I was trying different ones on him and he was putting them on me too, which obviously made us look like a cute ass couple, and I 150% made that hoe Cake jealous, but that isn't even the best part. As we were walking back to the car we were talking and he ended up putting his arm around me while we were waiting for our car. He told this other person that we were there with that he wanted to start talking again with me, so they ended up telling me, and I saw Cake literally start crying, so we sat next to each other on the way home and continued talking. As soon as we got back we all played truth or dare and someone dared him to kiss me. Mind you, I never kissed anyone before, but he ended up just kissing my cheek, and boy oh boy were there butterflies in my stomach. He smiled right after he did it and I ran upstairs and washed it off. That whole night Cake was jealous and he could see it, and he didn't give a fuck cause he ain't like her scrawny looking ass. We ended up cuddling for the rest of the night. Until this day Cake still has me blocked, but don't worry y'all, she's as literal Dumba's face with tears of joy. Face with tears of joy. Confession. I was raised as an atheist, but when I was about 9 my grandpa was in tons of pain. I never really liked him and he scared me, but the week before he died I prayed to the Greek god of death. I was a Percy Jackson nerd, that he would pass quickly. He died 3 days after I left Singapore. I did the same thing a year later with my great aunt, who just had dementia, but my gran said she'd be better dead, and she died 2 weeks later. About 2 years ago the exact same thing happened with my great grandmother, but I thanked God that she'd lived a good life. She died a month later and now I'm pretty sure I'm cursed or that God hates me. I'm Christian now and this scares me. For a time, one time I was in the 6th grade, I was liking this kid. He was my crush and my friend kept on telling me to tell him my feelings. I ended up telling him and he said he liked me back. But my stupid ass said I'm sorry, it was a dare, and left. The next day he was dating my best friend and I regretted not dating him, and I still regret it. Story time. It all started when the popular girls were starting a talent show exactly like America's Got Talent. It lasted weeks and for some reason I was in 3 entries, one being a comedy skit that was out in the first round. One was a dancing one and the last I was threatened into doing it by the school bully that had been bullying me for 2 years. Anyway, my last 2 entries were in the semi-finals and that's when we had all the other kids judge who the winner was, and this girl really told me to blend in with her and I was like no red heart. So I purposefully messed up and lost, so then she came after me. Luckily I'm fast, however I may have gotten in one headlock and in the end she got suspended and my dance won the competition. One time I was in class. It was my last class of the day and I was tired and ready to go home. But then I had to go to the bathroom. Back then I thought it was cool to use one of the private stalls at my school. Well, after I was done, I tried opening the door and it wouldn't open. I thought I had twisted the doorknob to where I could open the door. I started to get scared. I tried and the door wouldn't open. It was only a few minutes before the final bell would ring and I was terrified. I didn't even have my phone on me. At one point, someone in my class heard banging noises and they went outside. They eventually told me from outside the door that I was supposed to twist the doorknob the other way around. I felt so stupid. This is a story of how I kinda got played, but it gets complicated towards the end. This happened last year during the winter of my freshman year. I was texting my friend who goes to private school during Christmas Day telling her how much I wish I had a boyfriend, and she goes to a Catholic school with hot boys but they are all fuckboys and I knew that. She said she has a guy snap she could give me. His name starts with a J but we'll call him Banana. So I get Banana's snap and I think he's so cute when he literally wasn't at all. Looking back on it, and I regret ever adding that stupid fuckboy who literally looks like a mole rat. We snapped a lot and became friends during January and I really started to like this boy and I couldn't tell if he liked me. I'll skip the boring part where we just talked up until February. I have this friend, let's call her Strawberry. So she had this guy friend, we're gonna call him Edward. Edward knew who Banana was. BC Edward met Banana at a party and he didn't. I knew to be careful. Banana was somewhat dropping hints he liked me and I was very happy, but at the same time this was during the bad part of my year at my lowest. Anyway, I found from Edward that Banana was a fuckboy who was in a group chat with other boys and how they have a group chat called HOV to fuck over girls step by step. Like WTF, how low of a person do you have to be to fuck over a girl? I will tell you the steps that I got sent by Edward. BC, he cared about my feelings and didn't want me to get hurt even though I was crying when I found out about the group chat. Step 1 was to find your target and that target was me. Step 2 was get to talk to you, make her fall for you, which I did. Step 3 was to block her out of the blue. I didn't mention he blocked me randomly and I DM him and asked why. He said his friend took his phone and did it as a joke, which I don't believe. So anyway, step 4 was to tell her the only way I'll unblock you is if you send nudes. Banana didn't ask me this. Okay, so about a week ago my best friend since we were 4 became my neighbor. I was home alone so she just came over. We went outside and we were on my trampoline in my backyard and this guy drove by us and started whistling and staring us up and down. My immediate reaction was to get down on the ground and chase him while barking like a fucking dog. And so I did. So did my friend. This man pulled over and sat there staring at us while we were still barking at him. Our other neighbor's dog was outside. Apparently I sounded like a real dog, so the dog came running towards me. This dog is a sweetheart, by the way. I told her to chase the man and so she did. The man started driving and he left. The dog was very well trained, so she came right back, monkey covering eyes. Smirking cat face. Story time. So like 6 months ago I was dating this guy for 2 months and he's pretty ugly NGL, but anyways. We watched a basketball game and after it I had to go home, but before that he was holding me by my waist and I think he wanted to kiss me. At the time I had like no experience with that stuff, but I just hugged him and I broke up with him because he played with my feelings and shit. But after that I found out I was a dare and he started dating my close friend. No hard feelings or anything, it just pissed me off, but I got over it. Story time. One time in 8th grade I was at school and me and my best friend hated this teacher because all she did was scream at us and she didn't like us for no reason. So one day we wanted to get revenge on that fatty, so we snuck into the janitor's closet at lunchtime and took tons of soap and filled up our water bottles with water. Then few minutes before lunch was over we dumped the soapy water out in front of her classroom, so when that fat bitch came in she slipped. I swear she shook the whole school and her ankle bent backwards and snapped and she was rushed into the hospital and we went into secure school. Her foot was never the same after and she quit. Butcher knife. Skull. Smirking face. Love struck cat face. One time. This happened 3 years ago. When I was younger I had brought a friend over to my cousin's house. Mind you, I'm 3rd grade and she was at least in 5th grade, so a few hours later we all went to sleep and the next day I saw her crying, so I asked her what was wrong and she said that she felt someone touch her butt when she was asleep. Remind you, all the girls slept upstairs and the boys were downstairs, and I knew it couldn't have been one of them cause they knew I would kill them or something with no hesitation, but we later found out it was an old man who looked like he was in his 50s and he came upstairs and touched her butt. I haven't brought her there since and the old guy was not allowed there anymore whenever she came over. I had this group of friends, let's call them Lemon, Watermelon, and Edward. Anyways, Edward was flirting with me all night, but I had a boyfriend and they noticed he was flirting with me and told him to hop off, but he didn't. He even tried to kiss me with his musty crusty lips, but I rejected him. This ugly rat was pulling on me all night. Anyways, weeks later he tried to text my BF that I tried to cheat on him and I was mad cause I didn't, and Lemon and Watermelon took his side, even thought they knew I was right. I was so mad I put the guy in a group chat with all the girls he lied about and exposed him. Smiley. Okay, so here is my story. This happened when I was in kindergarten to 1st grade. I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin. It was a very nice life I led there and I was very happy with my school and my friends. I rode the bus every day with the same people and we all had our own cliques, right? Well, there was this one boy who everyone knew but he wasn't a part of any group, because he was weird. Anyway, so one day the boy, let's call him Mario. Mario shows me and my older sister drawings he made of the bus driver's grave. He continues to write hateful letters about the bus driver and tell us how much he didn't like him every single day. The funny thing is he sat almost right behind the driver too. One day I guess he got caught. Mario was so violent with these messages but we were kids so we just thought he was joking. My sister and I got called into the office by my principal and we were asked a bunch of questions about Mario. We told our principal that it was true Mario didn't like the bus driver. We were scared of her a little bit. After that day, I never saw Mario again. While I was living with aunt and uncle we would go to my cousin's friend's house and they had a friend that was a lot older than me. Keep in mind I was 5 and they are like 17. He would always hold me and lift me up and sometimes rub my legs. I wanted this crusty dusty musty flusty oompa loompa off me cause I swore I knew he was a pedo too. He was kinda hot but I had already been through enough. He took me into a room and put me on the bed and we just sat. I knew this pussy bitch had nothing on me and didn't try and make his move cause he probably would have gotten caught. I was a ugly child like WTF you tryna. He kept trying and he rubbed my thigh once. I swear his snake hands felt like sandpaper. His fat cross-eyed Hannibal hippo mippo nipple ass ended up getting away with sexually assaulting me cause I was too scared to tell anyone and I haven't told anyone yet. Huffing with anger face. Is it just me or does everyone have the biggest crush on Draco Malfoy? Like he was broken and had no one. He deserved much more than he got, to be honest. Harry had people who truly loved him. I'm not saying he didn't also have a bad situation but Draco never had a choice. He was led by evil his entire life. Although he still ended up teaching his child that mudbloods weren't bad so I don't know. I just wish that things turned out differently especially in the deleted scene where Harry jumped off Hagrid's arms. Red double exclamation mark. Anyways, just because you like Draco doesn't make you a Slytherin. Laughing with Tears cat face. Take the Pottermore quiz then talk.